know with this population. So I figured if we could get a recording, and that way it'll be there as a resource for both of us.
Yeah.
After today.
That'll be perfect.
Do you usually get a
recording
pretty good...
in progress?
Oh, there you go.
Does it work? I can record too, right?
Yes.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
Perfect. What were you gonna say? Sorry.
Well, I was gonna ask if you usually get a pretty good following when you do the live events, or is it kind of hit and miss?
I haven't done any live events actually. So I do personal training, and then I've done just the videos online. So this is like the first going live, and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, well, I'm excited.
Yeah.
We'll at least have a record of it and
Yeah, it'll be
see
good.
where it goes.
I
Yeah.
think the only one I didn't get connected to was the TikTok, but I can always try uploading it. I just didn't know. That would have been 4 devices, and I think this is good starting with 3. So
Yeah, fair enough.
all right.
So when you're recording, let me see if it'll let me record on my computer as well.
Okay.
And then, yes, okay, we're good.
That's good. Okay.
Okay. So for anybody that's joining us on my end of things, I want to make sure that we introduce you because you've had a very long history with us at the St. Christopher Fund that I think is just so important for people to know. And you could tell us however much you want about this, but way back in 2009, right?
Yep.
You went running across the United States to help raise awareness for the St. Christopher Fund and the population that we help to support.
Yep.
How long did it take you to, I mean, it's really more than a marathon. It's really called a marathon, but that's like a gross
It's a long
underestimate of what it was.
Yeah. So it was about 9-10 months, and then it was a total of 3,161.2 miles ran. So
That's incredible. And you were only 17, so you were the youngest to have ever completed that journey in the history.
yes, I was 16 actually, and spent my golden birthday for 17 in El Paso, Texas, and it was awesome. The RV place that we were at threw a big birthday party, and we had a lot of open arms throughout the whole run across the country, which was awesome. So, and a lot of people that learned about the St. Christopher's Fund, and it was an experience that I will never forget. So
It's incredible. Well, and so now we're having this full circle moment because we are in the midst of the September Health Challenge, recognizing over-the-road truck drivers as part of National Truck Driver Appreciation Week, and this is kind of one of our thank yous to them is to offer this free program. And you're back with us today
yes.
to help get in a fun, exciting workout and specifically focus on things that they can do while they're on the road.
Yep.
So here we are many years later, and you're still inspiring them with more health and wellness tips, which is just amazing.
Yes, I went to school for personal training, and I absolutely love it. Doesn't feel like work, it just, the time flies by, and I love every moment of it, so why not use it? So.
Absolutely. Well, we appreciate you helping us out with this and providing more resources for our drivers. And unless there's anything you want to add to that, I will let you take it away.
Sounds good. On the YouTube channel, I do have different, we created a tab that has just over-the-road exercises that drivers can do. So one of the videos, I think it was like one of my first ones I did, so the audio isn't very good, but you can tell what I'm doing and the exercise that I'm doing. And it was with chains. That they can use in their truck. The chains are obviously a lot dirtier than what mine were, and they're probably about the same amount of resistance or equal as far as the weight goes. So there's a routine there, and then we did one that was using like the ratchet straps that they have in their truck. So just stuff that they have in their semi that they can use over the road. And then today's gonna be more of like that basic total body routine and stuff around your truck hopefully, or you can get it at a truck stop or a gas station or Walmart, anywhere you can park your truck or get into. So we are gonna start with a warm-up. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Yep. You jump right in, and I'll be IT person in the background.
Sounds good. And you can see me okay back here, correct?
Yes.
Okay, good. So we're gonna start with a dynamic T-arm. We're gonna bring the hands together and then bring one arm back, across, center, center, back, across, center, center. So this might look familiar if you were doing one of the other warm-ups that I had designed for this health and wellness challenge, but we're gonna do just 5 per side for right now. So that was 2. And this is warming up the middle part of your back, your thoracic spine. This is 4. I sometimes forget to count out loud, sorry. And this is 5. We'll just start with 5. So, and then the next one you can do by your semi, or if you're at home and you have a wall, or you can just do it in the middle of the room, but you're gonna have palm in towards your body. You're gonna go to your end range of motion, flip your palm out, and go all the way around. So palm in, end range of motion, palm out, all the way around. So this is just gonna warm up that shoulder joint. If you have any pain with any of these exercises, don't do them, or message and ask for an alternative exercise. So that was 3, this is 4, and 5. You can join in too if you want to. So palm in, now we're gonna go end range of motion, palm out, all the way around. You gotta do both sides here. That was 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then this one, there's multiple variations you can do. The goal of this next one though is just gonna be to warm up the posterior side. So the stretch overhead is the arms obviously, and then you wanna get the glutes and the hamstrings all the way down to the toes, so it's just toe touches. We're gonna reach overhead and down towards our toes. And you want to try to keep your legs fairly straight. If you have a lot of hypermobility, meaning when you're standing, your kneecap, you can't see it, and it's back here, that you want to have soft knees in, because you don't want to hyperextend that leg. So we're going to go overhead, down towards the toes, overhead, down towards the toes. And I actually can't see who's on mine as far as my Facebook and my YouTube, so we'll see how this works out. I don't know if there's a way they can message or not, but I'll try to multitask here and watch and see if anything pops up on the screen. And I think this is about 6 or 7. We'll just do one more for 8. Good. So that shouldn't create pain. If you can't touch your toes, that's not a big deal. Just reach down as far as you can then. The next one we will do is a leg hurdle or a kneeling adductor dip. I'm going to show you both of them because some have more mobility than others. And if you're sitting all day in a truck, the hip area tends to get very, very tight. Or if you're sitting at a desk job, for example, all day, everything gets tight through here. And then the hamstrings too, they get shorter, and then it creates back pain and it pulls on that back. So what we're going to do is stand. You can use your truck if you need to for balance, your grab handle, or if you're in your truck, use the back of your seat. But we're going to go external, internal rotation for the hips. So what I'm doing is bringing my knee up, out, up, and in. Up, out, up, and in. I think that was 7. And 8. Then we're going to do that other side. So same thing. And if you can only get your leg up this high, that is okay. You're still getting that external, internal rotation of that hip. So you want to bring it up, out, up, and in. Up, out, up, and in. And I just made this warm up to be kind of quick that we can run through because it is a 30-minute routine. Or the lifting part is 30 minutes. Then you have that warm up and cool down. And again, there should be no pain with any of this. And that, I believe, was 8. And then I'm gonna show you that kneeling adductor dip. So if that didn't feel like it stretched the inner thigh very well, I'm gonna show you another alternative, and I'm just using a mat. If you have a shirt or a towel that you can lay down, something for the knees that's not gonna create knee pain wherever you are at, make sure you lay something down. Roll up a towel, a shirt, whatever you have, either in your truck or at home. So I'm gonna bring one knee up, and what I'm gonna do is externally rotate it out. So I'm gonna bring my leg out to the side. If your balance is off or it's hard to be in this position, I want you to hold on to something, whatever's close to you. But my knee is gonna be under my hip, my ankle is gonna be under this knee, and I'm just gonna walk it out a little bit to get more of a stretch. So this leg's at 90 degrees, this one's at 90 degrees or a little bit farther. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drop down and rock back. Drop down and rock back. Usually this is like everyone's favorite for a warm up. So this one does feel really good, and you should get a good stretch on that inner thigh. And we'll just do 5 of these. So if you did that other one where you're standing and you're doing that external, internal rotation of the hip area, you do not have to do this one. This is an added bonus if you want. And then I'm gonna switch sides. So I'm gonna do this one from the side so you can see it. This is 90 degrees with that other leg. And then this one comes up, and then we want to externally rotate it where that heel lines up with the knee. 90 degrees here, 90 degrees here, and I'm going to drop down towards it. And again, this shouldn't be creating any knee pain, but you should get a good pull on the inner thigh. Make sure you're breathing. It's very easy to hold your breath when you exercise. I also teach at the senior facility here in town too. So the oldest lady that I've taught is 103 and always gave me a hard time, and it's always reminding her to breathe because it's very easy to hold your breath. Good. So that should have been 5, if not more. I tend to talk and then lose track of counting. So we're gonna do a kneeling alternate thoracic rotation. I know when we did this one, the dynamic T-arm, which got a little bit of movement through here and the shoulders and everything, but this one is gonna be that lower part of the thoracic spine. So we're gonna go one knee under the hip, and your foot is just straight back. You can either have that foot flexed or relaxed. Relaxed is a little bit easier. It's not such a pull in that hip flexor. And then you're gonna bring say your left knee is up, or left leg is up. Right hand is gonna come down, and the other one, you're gonna bring this one up towards the ceiling. And you can watch that hand if you want, and then bring it down. Bring the other side up. This is a little bit more advanced if you bring this one up. Okay, otherwise you can just stay here. And bring it back down and up. And I'll just stick to this one. That was 3, this is 4. And 5. We'll just do 5 today. We're going to switch sides. Get a stay down step. Knee under the hip. Ankle underneath that knee. We're going to bring it down. And we're going to go up towards the ceiling. You can look at that hand if you want. Bring it down. If you bring this hand up, that's a little bit more advanced rotation. You do not have to do that one. This one's going to be 2, 3, 4, and 5. Good. So, since we're already down here, we're going to go on to the next one. We're going to do a glute bridge or hip thrust, whatever you want to call it. Usually it's called a glute bridge when you're lying on the floor. So I'm going to lie all the way down. And if you can't see me, let me know and I'll move farther back that way. But we're going to go all the way down. Your back is going to be pressed into the floor. Relax your head down. Arms are just going to be by your side. Feet are shoulder width apart. Think of pressing your back in. And you're going to squeeze your butt, your glute. Drive up. Count 1, 2, and back down. Drive up. 1, 2, and back down. We'll just do 5 of these. And you can see that I'm not raising very high up. You do not have to be way up here. I want that back as neutral as you can keep it, maintain it as you drive those hips up. So back's pressed in, and then drive up. Make sure you're breathing. If I sound like a broken record for that, I apologize. Let's do one more. Backs pressed in, drive up. Good. And then I know I showed a couple different ways of doing a plank. You do not have to plank from the ground. That's a little bit more advanced. So the easiest way to do a plank, I should have turned my bench a little bit, but you can use the steps of your truck. Put a towel down on the step of your truck. Pretend this is my step going into that semi. Usually that top step is going to be a little bit wider than the bottom one. You'll have more room. So I would use that one so you're up a little bit higher. You could start with a hand plank where you're here. When you're in that plank position, I'm going to turn a little bit just so you can see my back. When you're in that plank position, don't bring your butt way up here. Don't bring your hips way down. You're going to hurt your back if you do that. Think of pulling your rib cage to your hip bone. So tuck the tailbone under, okay? So you want to think of your lower back as a C position, crunch position, okay? So I would start with just a hand plank. If that's easy and you guys are like, what is this lady doing? You can go down to your elbows, okay? That'll be a little bit easier. And if that is, or a little bit harder, I apologize. And if that is still too easy, then you could go down to the ground. And to progress down to the floor, you could go hand plank. And then the wrists are always under the shoulders, cores engaged, you're breathing. Think of putting air into your stomach, it's a balloon. Air into your stomach is going to expand like a balloon would. Let that air out, it retracts back in. So diaphragmatic breathing is what it's called. You want to focus on that as you're holding that plank position. If this is still too easy, you could go down to your elbows. Okay? So 4 different variations there. And you guys probably held that as long as I did, if not longer, so we're just going to relax at that. One other stretch I want to show you before we start actually lifting, and if you guys think I'm crazy and you thought that was the workout, I apologize, but just take your time, do what you can, and please message if you have any questions, okay? So because so many drivers are seated when they're working over the road for long hours throughout the day, this stretch is very beneficial and it will help if you have any SI pain. So what I want you to do is you're going to have the ankle underneath the knee lines up with your hip. That is very important, getting into that correct position. And then you're going to bring your other ankle over your knee if you can. When you're in this position, I don't want you to round your back. So I'm going to turn to the side just so you can see me. So I don't want you hunched over like this. I want you to try to sit nice and tall as you can. And you're going to pull your knee towards your chest. You're going to get a good stretch in that glute. And this feels good if you sit all day for your job or whatever it is that you're doing. I would recommend doing this stretch. And then usually 20 to 45 seconds, we're just going to switch. I just want to do a quick warm up with it. I'm going to switch to that other side here, same thing. Knee lines up with the hip, ankle underneath the knee. This ankle goes over your knee, you're sitting nice and tall. You're breathing. And then what we're going to do next is going to be more for like that SI pain that you might have when you're sitting. And it could also be tight hamstrings, so I'd recommend stretching them out too. And if you have questions, make sure you message. But ankle is over the knee, other ankle underneath the knee. And what you're going to do on this one, I'm going to try to turn to the side here so you can see me. You're going to sit nice and tall, and you're just going to lean forward. So I'm moving maybe like an inch or 2, and I can feel that whole stretch throughout the glute up to where people typically get SI pain. I'm going to hold that 2 seconds, bring that leg down, and then I'm going to bring this one up. Ankle is over the knee, other ankle underneath the knee. Knee lines up with your hip. This one just relaxes down, you're not pushing on it. And then you're going to lean forward. You're going to count 1, 2, and lean back out of it. We're going to do one more per side. Ankle over the knee, other ankle underneath the knee, sitting nice and tall. Lean forward. 1, 2, bring it back. And the other side. Ankle over the knee, other ankle underneath the knee, sitting nice and tall. Lean forward. 1, 2. And then we come back out of it. Is there any questions or anything so far? You can stop me if I'm talking too much too.
No, you're doing great.
Okay.
I'm keeping an eye on Facebook and YouTube, and I've got you posted on Reddit too. So we're getting like a sprinkle of people. No questions yet, but
Okay.
I'll stop you if they come up.
Awesome, sounds good. Sorry, I tend to just kind of spew
No,
out a bunch
sorry.
of things and then, okay. So I have a bunch of different items that you probably have at home or like I said in your truck. The first one being a gallon water jug. And this is 6.6, or wait, I'm saying that wrong. Sorry, this one is 8.34 pounds. And I wrote it on my mirror, so I didn't mess up here. But, so this is 8.34 pounds, each one. So a total of 16, 17 pounds. This smaller one, 92 fluid ounces, which you guys probably have either in your truck or at home as well. This is 6.6 pounds, okay? So if you're just starting out lifting, I would start with these. The next one is the larger Tide detergent, and this one's 146 fluid ounces. This one is 10 pounds each, so a total of 20 pounds. If you have weights in your truck, I would definitely go to the weights, but this, like I said, is an alternative, okay? And then these, I literally bought from Walmart, and we silicone the top so that the top didn't pop off, just in case. But hopefully your guys's, if you do have water jugs, you don't have that issue. These are 26.8 pounds. Okay, so I'm gonna try to use all the weights today throughout the routine that we're gonna do. So the first one is going to be a goblet squat. So when you do this, I want you to keep the weight nice and close to your body. The farther away you have that weight, it is gonna put load more likely on that low back than anything. So anything we do, we always try to keep it close to the body. It's that lever arm. You just don't, like when you go to lift something heavy, you're not gonna lift it like this, right? So you wanna keep that close. So what I'm gonna use is the water jugs for right now. I'm gonna keep both of them nice and close, and I'm starting off with the 8.34 pounds. Like I said, that other detergent that is lighter than this. And if you have larger hands, I mean, you can pull it in, I don't want to hit the mic here, but you can hold it like this, nice and close to your body even. Whatever works, okay? Because these handles are quite small. So keep it close, you're gonna stay nice and tall through your upper half. Feet are gonna be shoulder width apart. When you do this, think of sitting down into a chair. So a lot of people like to squat like this for whatever reason. When you squat like this, you're gonna load your knees, and it is gonna hurt. And over time, your knees are gonna wear out, and they're gonna yell at you. So I would listen to them now if they are talking. Make sure you sit your butt down and back like you're sitting in a chair. You wanna squeeze your glutes, come up nice and tall. If you have a chair that you wanna sit down to, or the step of your truck, I would use that. Especially if you feel like your balance isn't that great, use that step. Okay, so feet shoulder width, you're gonna think of the weight being in your heels. Squeeze your butt every time you come up. So that was 1. This is 2. 3. 4. I'll back up a little bit. You can see me okay? Okay. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And the reason I'm doing 15 reps, it's not to be mean, it is to get the heart rate up and to get more muscular endurance. If we were lifting less reps and heavier weight, then you're obviously doing more strength. So that is why I'm sticking to 15 reps when I do this. The next one that I'm gonna have paired with this is a one-arm suitcase row. So I'm gonna use this one because I love the handle. It's nice to hold on to. You can stick to whatever you have and whatever you wanna use. I was trying to think of other items that they would have in their truck. You could use a water bottle if you wanted, just something. I don't think I have a water bottle out here. I have my coffee cup, but making sure it's on tight. You can hold that like this and roll up even. I mean, if it feels like something like this is gonna be too heavy to start out with, I would just get the movement with something light. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is suitcase row. One foot is gonna be forward, the other one is gonna be back, and then a pretty good stride length back, okay? So like if you were to take a big step, that's roughly where you wanna be. But I'm gonna step back so I stay in the camera here. And then I'm gonna turn my back foot out. So it looks like if you were to draw a line, my heel lines up with my other heel, and an L stance, and then my foot's turned out. Okay, I'm gonna bring my foot back just a little bit more. If you have longer legs, you're gonna want that foot back farther. Okay, if you have shorter legs, obviously a little closer. One hand is gonna be on the knee. I'm gonna think of locking my shoulder blades down and back. You can get more range of motion, but a lot of people are gonna tend to wanna round in this position anyway, so I'm just gonna cue it how I would if I was starting a new client. I'm gonna think of shoulder blades locked down and back, hand is on that knee, and I'm gonna roll up to the rib cage and then back down. Roll up and down. This is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, make sure you're breathing, 12, so think of exhaling every time you roll up, 13, 14, 15. So when you're doing this, you want to think of your hand going to your rib cage and your elbow driving up towards that ceiling, okay? We still have that other side. I know I didn't cue that part, but there's a lot that I just cued, so try to bear with me. One hand is going to be on the knee. You're in that L stance. I just literally spun around. That's the easiest way to get into that other side. And I'm going to spin that weight around. Shoulder blades locked down and back. Think of shoulder blades locked back, pushing your chest out. As you do this, you're pinching between the shoulder blades. So this other side, I'm not going to let it drop. I want to keep that side pulled back too as I'm in this position. You're in that L stance, arm is down. You're going to exhale, roll up. Inhale, bring it down. And this is 5. Like I said, I forget to count out loud sometimes. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Was that beeping anything on my end?
No, that was just people joining us.
Oh, okay, perfect. I'm like, oh no, what did I do? Okay, sounds good. So I should have grabbed my timer here. And I did not prepare for that. I'm gonna actually use my watch here. So we're gonna do 20 seconds of rest here, and then we're gonna go back into that goblet squat and that one arm row for the second set. Yeah, if you want, you can look at and see if there's any responses on there, or replies on here. This one?
I already have them.
Oh, okay, perfect. And that was 20 seconds, perfect. Okay, so this goblet squat again, we're gonna do another 15 reps. I want you guys to keep that heart rate up, so we're gonna go right into it. This time I'm gonna use a little bit bigger water jug. So, whatever you guys have, whatever you use, I'm just gonna kind of bear hug it here and try not to hit that mic. Keep it nice and close, standing nice and tall. You're gonna sit your butt down and back, squeeze the glutes, come up nice and tall. This is 2, 3, 4, 5, and if that's annoying, I apologize, lots of water moving around here. This is 8, squeeze the glutes, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And I probably went through that one a little bit quicker. Like I said, we want to keep that heart rate up. And I want you guys to, and then I grab a lighter one. So I want you guys to keep that heart rate up and keep moving. So then we go into that L stance again. Hand is on the knee, ankle is underneath the knee, shoulder blades locked down and back. We're going to roll up and down. Think of driving that elbow towards the ceiling, shoulder blades pinch down and back. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And we're gonna switch sides. So other side, L stance, you can just spin around. Front foot, or yes, front foot forward, hand is on that knee, L stance with that back leg, and then try to keep your head neutral with your spine. I know I'm looking that way, but try to keep your head neutral with your spine so you don't get tight through that neck, okay? Shoulder blades locked down and back. You're gonna exhale, row up, inhale, bring it down. This is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Good. So then we are going to go 45 seconds, okay? So we go to 2 different exercises now. So seated TTR and a step back burpee, and I did the video on this too, and it's on the YouTube channel, but I know everyone hears the word burpee and they're like, this lady's crazy, I'm out of here. So don't go anywhere yet. We have about 45 seconds rest to get that heart rate down if you are following along. And if you cannot see me, let me know. We have about 15 more seconds here. And these are body weight. These next 2 are body weight. So, and I'm going to show you a different variation if that seated TTR is too challenging, okay? Okay, so we're at 45 seconds here. So what you're going to do is you're seated. If you cannot sit straight without having your hands back here, so it hurts your back, and you have to have your hands back here. So, like I said, if you can't sit like this, and you have your hands back here, I'm going to show you a different alternative that you can do instead of this first one, okay? So, the first exercise, legs are straight, you'll lean back to where you get a pull in your abdomen. Think of that C in the lower spine, so rib cage to your hip bone. That prevents this arching type of movement in that low back, okay? So you do not want to feel anything in your low back as far as these exercises go. We are not targeting that area, we are targeting the core. So think of that crunch position. You're going to touch to one side, the other side, reach overhead. Touch, touch, reach. Okay, so if you can do that without having your hands back here, that is the one you're going to do. If you cannot do that one, what you will do is lie on your back. Back is going to be pressed in the floor. Knees are going to be over your hips, and feet are just out at 90. I don't know what happened here. It disconnected.
Recording in progress.
Oh. Can you still see me, hear me? Can you hear me, see me?
I can hear you, and it looks like you're still live, I think, on YouTube and Facebook.
Oh no, okay. It's not, I can't get that screen. I don't know what's going on.
There it is.
You can see me?
Yeah, I can see that.
Okay. I'm like, oh no, she's gone. What did I do now?
I'm watching all of them, and I was like, wait, these 2 are still going, and this one's not. I don't know. You're good. You're good.
Okay, perfect. So we're going to go back to lying on the ground. If you can't do this one, where you're sitting up nice and tall and you need your arms to hold yourself up, you are going to do this next exercise. So lying on your back, feet are actually going to be down on the floor, and shoulder width apart. Back is going to be pressed in, and what you're going to do is you're going to raise up to that crunch position. Think of your rib cage to your hip bone. You're going to reach towards one heel, towards the other, and back down. I want you to relax your head every single rep, because you're going to strain that neck otherwise. You're going to feel it all in those scalenes and that whole neck area. So what you're going to do is crunch position up, one side, the other, and back down. Make your brain work. Try to alternate one side and then the other. So like this, and down, or the other side, this, and down. But I'm going to demonstrate that other exercise, so that is your alternative if you cannot sit up nice and tall, okay? So we're going to start right away. We're going to touch to one side, the other, reach overhead. So that was 1, this is 2, 3. The farther you lean back, the harder it is. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now we're going to do 10 the other way. So touch the other side first, and then the other one, and overhead. This is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And if you're doing that other exercise, I should have explained that a little bit better. You were just going to try to aim for 15 total. I think that was 8. 9, and this is 10, okay? And then we're going to go to that fun burpee one, okay? So don't click out of this. This one we are going to do a step back burpee. Okay, so I'm going to turn my bench here so you can see what I'm doing. You can use the steps of your semi, or if you're in your semi, you can use the chairs, the driver and passenger side, and have your hands on that. Just make sure you don't face plant into the shifter when you do this. So if you're in your semi, like I said, the steps is probably going to be better than the chairs. But we are going to go hands on the steps of that truck. Make sure you have a towel or a shirt or something so the steps don't hurt your hands. You're going to come down. We're going to step back, back, forward, forward, and up. And I want to make your brain work. I want you to alternate what side you are stepping back with and forward with, okay? Now we're going to come down, back, back, forward. There's 2. Alternate those legs. There's 3, 4. This should not hurt your knees. It's no different than if you're stepping into a semi and out of one. So that's why we're doing a step back and not a jump back. Otherwise, if you want to make it more challenging, go down to the elbows. This is 5, 6. Make sure you're alternating those legs. 7. This is a lot harder than it looks, huh? 8, 9, 10. If you want to jump, by all means, you can jump back, but you do not have to. This is 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. I am going to start that timer for 20 seconds rest, and we're going to go through that one more time. I'll try not to talk as much. So we're about halfway through the workout, if not a little bit more, and I'll try to go through a quick cool down as long as we have enough time here. So we have about 5 more seconds. Your heart rate should be elevated. And if this is too intense, take longer rests. So completely ignore me for a little bit longer and then start when you're ready. So I'm going to start with that touch, touch, reach again. If you're doing the heel taps, go ahead and do those heel taps. It'll be about 15%. It should equal up to when we're done with these. So we're going to lean back, think of that C in that lower spine, tailbone tucked under. You're going to touch to one side, the other, and overhead. Can you see me okay still? Or am I too close?
You're a little bit close, but I think we're okay.
Okay, I'll just slide that quick. Better?
Perfect.
Okay, thank you. This is 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And I went 5 extra, sorry guys. So you can do 10 if you want, or 15. And just so in the habit of 15 always on the core, just because it's a smaller muscle group and it's a good area to work. There's 2. We're switching sides. 3, 4. So before I was going here, over and up. Now we're on that other side. This is 5, 6. Make sure you're breathing. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Good. And then we're going to go right into that step backward beat. Okay? So I'll show you the easier one with the hands. Make sure you're using that step of your truck with a towel or something. Or if you have a bench and you're in a gym, by all means use that, okay? So hands, wrists under the shoulders. You're going to step back, back, forward, forward. We're alternating what leg we're stepping back with first. Make sure you're breathing. If this is too easy, go down to those elbows. I think this is 6. I gotta remember to count out loud. 7, 8. Think of that C in that lower spine, so don't let your hips drop here. Okay, you're gonna hurt your back if you do that. Keep that tailbone tucked under. This is 10. 11. 12. 13. You're alternating those legs. 14. And 15. Good. So we're going to do 45 seconds rest, and then we go to 2 new exercises. Okay? Everyone's hopefully following along, not just looking at me like I'm crazy. If this is a little too intense, make sure you message and let me know, and I will make modifications for you guys. Okay? Or if it's like, oh, this is way too easy, let me know, and I'll make it harder. The next 2 we're going to go into is an RDL and an overhead tricep extension. These 2 are going to be a little bit quicker than those other exercises we were doing. And we have about 10 seconds yet. So I am going to demonstrate with, I'll just start the first set with the lighter weights, the Tide 10 pounds apiece ones. And what we're going to do is feet shoulder width apart. This is a little bit different than squats, okay? So squats, your knees bend, your butt goes back. This one, I want you to think of your shin angle. So knee stays over that ankle, and what you're gonna do is think of if you had a belt loop on and someone's pulling your hips back, okay? So your butt's gonna go back, and the weights stay close to your body, and you go all the way down to about mid-shin or to the floor, okay? If this is hard on the shoulders, try to keep the hands turned slightly out so it looks like this. So instead of here, that internal rotation, have that external with the shoulders. You're gonna squeeze your butt, stand up nice and tall. That was 1. This is 2. You wanna have a nice flat back, shoulders locked back. 3, 4, 5. Weights are staying against my body. 6, 7. You should feel this in the back of your legs and your butt. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, core is engaged always, 13, 14, 15. Good. So where you should have felt that is the whole back side of your legs, posterior chain and your butt, because you're squeezing it when you stand up, hopefully. And then we're going to go into an overhead tricep extension. 2 different ways you can do this. If you have that water jug, or if you have weights, use the weights. But I'm just demonstrating with stuff that you probably have around your house. So you could use 1 water jug. This was 8.34 pounds. Make sure you have both sides of it. You can bring those elbows up, weight goes behind your head, pressing overhead. Make sure you're careful and slow with this and you do not hit yourself in the head, because it is not going to feel good if you do. Okay, so it's a gallon water jug. I'm going to use 2 of them to demonstrate, and I'm going to keep them a little bit closer together, which is a little easier. And I'm going to keep those, actually I'm not, sorry. I'm going to have them out to the side. I'm going to keep those elbows up, and then the ends of the water jugs are together, if you can see that. And then I'm going to press overhead and back down. Press overhead and back down. would start with the lighter weights on this one, just because this is a challenging exercise. If you cannot press overhead, there is an alternative you can do, which is, I'm just going to do 8 of these overhead. The other alternative you could do is having your elbows back. You're going to go into that hinge position that we just did that already out, and what you're going to do is press straight back. You're going to do a tricep kick back. Your elbows stay back, chest pushed out, lock those shoulder blades down and back, and pressing back. So I'm going to do half of them one way and half of them this way, so you can see the variations. And this is 6, 7, and 8. So whichever exercise you just did, you should feel it in the back side of your arm. And I'm just setting that timer for the 20 seconds rest. So first one, we'll go through a little bit quicker. That is going to be the hamstrings. Second one is triceps, back side of your arm. And we have about 45 seconds rest here. We're almost done, you guys. And then we'll do a quick cool down, and if there's any questions, I'll try answering them when we're doing that. And I'm going to use the heavier water jugs for demonstration, just so you can see how that looks. Heart rate should be a little bit elevated. We have 5 more seconds. So what we're going to do is, it might look funny with these water jugs because they're pretty big, but that's about 50 pounds, so you can get pretty good weight over the road if you want to use heavier weights. And I think they were only like 10 bucks a piece, so cheaper than dumbbells. Feet shoulder width apart. Soft knees. You don't want your knees to hyperextend, you want them soft, and you're going to hinge. That's that, think of a belt loop on, and someone's pulling your hips back, or pulling that belt loop back. Your butt's going to go back, your upper half comes down, you're going to go to about mid-shin. Nice flat back, shoulders pulled back, squeeze your butt, come up nice and tall. This is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Cores engaged. You should not feel this in your back. You should feel it in your butt and your hamstrings, back side of your legs. This is 11, 12, 13, 14. Make sure you're breathing. And 15. Good. So we're going to set those down. I'm not using these overhead. I will hit myself in the head. And then we're going to use, I'll just use one water jug for this next one. The tricep overhead extension. Elbows are going to be up, nice and tall. Try not to let your hips come forward. You're going to hurt your back. Elbows stay up. Weight goes behind the head. Press overhead. Behind the head. Press overhead. So I'll do 10 with this and 10 with the other way. That's 3, this is 4. Try to get full extension. 5. If I'm too close, I'll back up. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then I'm going to do 10 as a tricep kickback if you cannot press overhead. Shoulder blades locked down and back, elbows back. You're in that hinge position where your butt's pushed back and you're pressing straight back behind you, and then you're bringing it forward. So think of your elbows as a pivot mark, okay? This is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So I would do 15, whichever one you chose. I just did 10 and 10 because then that's 20. If you did that with me, great. You did extra. And then we have one final exercise that we're going to do. And this, usually everyone loves. It is called the farmer's carry. And, sorry, my watch is talking to me. So what we're going to do is the heaviest weight you have or heaviest water jugs you have, use those. Because what you're going to do is have them by your side, and you're going to walk the length of, usually your semi from the front of it, all the way back to the end of your trailer, if you have a trailer on, and back. So that would be counted as one set, and then you would rest and then do a second set. Or if you're at home, walk the length of your driveway if you have a longer driveway. Just make sure that you're standing nice and tall, you're not arching your back when you're walking, and your head is up, you're not looking down, and you're walking as tall and tight as you can, okay? So I'm gonna use the water jugs, and I guess I'm gonna start turning around, but what you wanna do is, weights are gonna be slightly out, core is engaged, you're gonna walk nice and tall. That length of your semi, if you can. And I'm just gonna walk a little bit slower. My gym is not that long. And keep your core engaged, stay nice and tall, looking straight ahead, and make sure you're breathing, don't hold your breath. That's a long time to hold your breath while carrying heavy weights. So, this one is an easier one, and I could probably go back a second time for like one full set, so if you guys are still walking, great. I'm gonna set them down, I'm gonna set that timer, the 20 seconds, and we'll do that one more time, and then we're gonna stretch. Thank you for setting an hour aside. I usually tend to go over. I talk too much. Lots of
It's for a very
information.
thorough workout though. I like that you've done the warm up, that we've got to cool down, and
Yes.
it's important to be thorough, right? Because then we reduce our risk for injury.
Yes, yep. Okay, we're gonna start that next one. We were at 20 seconds, so arms are slightly out, core is engaged. You're gonna walk nice and tall. Head stays neutral, straight forward. Make sure you're breathing. Don't let your shoulders round, you want to stay nice and tall. Don't let your low back arch. Core is engaged, everything's tight. And I'm just going to walk slower. Hopefully you guys are walking farther than I am. And good. I'm going to set this weight down. And good job, you guys. That was a full head to toe, total body. You guys did awesome. We are going to cool down, okay? So if your heart rate's up and everything, just take a deep breath, try to get that heart rate back down, and we're going to ease into a cool down. So I want you to bring your hands together, and you're going to think of someone pulling on your arms. So let your shoulders round, get a good stretch between your shoulder blades. So you're going to let your arms reach out, make sure you're breathing, especially if that just got your heart rate up. And we're just going to hold about 20 seconds on these. You can hold as long as 45 if you wanted. This always feels like a good stretch. And then we're going to reach more to one side. So I'm reaching to my left, and I'm getting more of a pull on my right shoulder blade. And then we're going to go the other direction, whatever direction you didn't go, to get a pull on the opposite side. The reason we're doing this stretch is because we did a rowing exercise. And then we are going to go to a tricep, so hand, same side shoulder. You're going to push or pull that elbow back, whatever you can do. Some people might not have this flexibility, so what you want to do is push that elbow back. And then we're going to switch sides. Hand to that same side shoulder, push or pull that elbow back. Make sure you're breathing. You should get a good stretch in that tricep here. It's about 20 seconds. And then the next one, if you can do this one, I want you to do this one. This is a standing quad stretch. Heel towards your butt, so you're going to use your grab handle if you need it for balance. If you're like, nope, I'm not doing that, you do not have to do this exercise. I'm going to have another one that will stretch that same area next, okay? In about 20 seconds or so. And then we're going to switch sides, same thing. Make sure you're breathing. So when you do this, I want you to think of your knee under your hip. I don't want your leg way back here like you're a ballerina. I want you to try to stay nice and tall. Think of tucking that tailbone under, and instantly you'll feel a stretch right in that quad. So I always think of knee underneath that hip. And from there, we're going to go into a kneeling hip flexor. So if you couldn't do that one, you should be able to do this one. Knee underneath the hip, ankle underneath your knee. I'll try to turn at an angle so you can see me. Think of tucking the tailbone under, rotating your pelvic bone. So you should get a pull right in that hip area and all the way down to that knee. You're just going to hold that position. So a lot of people will go here. You can flex that back foot if you want a deeper stretch. And then if you still don't feel a deep stretch here, squeeze your glute. And you should instantly feel it. A lot of people will go way up here, you don't have to do that. So right here it should be more than enough. And then we'll switch sides. And I might not be holding this the full 20 seconds. I just want to make sure we get through it all. Knee underneath the hip, ankle underneath the knee, tuck that tailbone under. And if this is too much of a stretch with that back foot flexed, you can lay it flat. If it's too easy, flex it. If that's too easy, squeeze that glute, and right away you should feel it. So we're covering head to toe cool down as well. And then we're gonna go seated, and we're gonna go into a straddle position where the feet are out farther, just because some have a hard time sitting. So if you use your arms when you're sitting up and you need them like this, that is why I'm gonna have the feet farther apart, okay? And we're gonna sit nice and tall, and one hand over the other, pull your toes towards you. Don't let your foot drop in or drop out, okay? So pull your toes towards you, try to keep it centered, reach towards those toes. Make sure you're breathing, don't hold your breath. Don't bounce, it's not worth it. If you can't get your toes, don't try to grab them. And then what we're gonna do is walk our hands to the center, and you're gonna hold that stretch. Make sure you're breathing in this position. Try to keep a nice flat back. Don't let your toes drop in or drop out too far. Try to keep them centered. And then we're gonna walk our hands to the other foot. Usually I line up the middle fingers there, and then reach towards the toes. Keep your toes pulled towards you so you get a good stretch in that calf muscle too. And we're going to do 2 more quick stretches. Is that okay as far as time? Okay. I will stretch that quickly. We will go to a figure 4 is what it's called. But what you're going to do is lie on your back. You're going to bring your ankle over your knee. I think of it as a forward position. Head is going to be relaxed down. If you feel a good stretch here, just stay here. If you do not feel a good stretch here, pull that knee, go between and behind that knee that was on the floor, and pull it towards your chest. Can you see me, or am I too close again?
I can see your feet and where they need to be. This is my favorite stretch, so I'm feeling this.
You're feeling this one? I'll try and move it back here a little bit, see if that helps. Oh. Is that too far now?
No, that's perfect.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, this is always a favorite. This one and the next one. And 20 seconds there, and then we'll switch sides, bring that other foot down, crossed over across this one, and then think of knee towards your chest. You're going to go between and behind that leg, pull it towards your chest. You get a good stretch in that glute, back of the leg. Like I said, if this is too much of a stretch or you can't pull that knee towards your chest, I want you to just keep that foot relaxed down, and you should get a good stretch here. And the last final one we're going to do is one leg is going to be straight on the floor, the other leg, bring it up and over and across. Try to think of keeping that shoulder on the ground, and this one's called a lying leg over, so you should feel a stretch literally from your shoulder down to your toes. And this is usually this one and that other one is everyone's favorite. Probably because you get to lie on the ground and just relax and feels good after a good workout. And then we're going to swing that back. If you cannot get your leg all the way down to the floor, that is okay. I mean, if you can just cross over like this a little bit, that's good too. Otherwise, you're bringing that leg up and across. Keep that shoulder down on the floor. should get a stretch from that shoulder all the way down the thoracic spine, the glute, hamstring, to your ankles. And good. Awesome. Good job, you guys. Thank you all for watching.
Yay, thank you.
Yes, that was awesome. If you guys have questions or if I didn't respond, I will sit on here and try to reply back. So do you have any questions for me or?
Haven't seen any that came up,
Okay.
but one that often comes up in our groups when we're talking about exercise, I usually tell them to use the talk test to try to get their heart rate up, but still be able to carry on a conversation,
Yes.
maybe slightly winded when they're working out. What do you recommend?
That is a good recommendation. Yep. So it all depends on their fitness level too. So that is what I would go to, just having someone start out. Make sure that you can still talk when you're exercising. If you are too winded and you're huffing and puffing, I would drop the intensity and probably drop the weight and the reps a little bit too, maybe go to 12 reps. You do not need to overexert yourself, especially just starting out. You don't need that lactic acid buildup. Make sure you can hold a conversation if you're just starting out. It's a fine line as far as, you know, how hard you're working, and if, like I said, if you're just starting, you will feel it the next day. It's usually the first 2 weeks of any new program you start, and you're like, oh my God, what did I just do? Or why am I out of shape? So make sure you listen to your body. That is probably the best key and thing that I could say for you guys to do when you're exercising. So
the next day when they're feeling it, what is the best thing they can do to work that out?
I would
Not feel so sore.
Yes, I would recommend drinking plenty of water for starters, and second of all, I know that you guys are sitting if you're driving over the road, but try to take some breaks and get out and walk and move around. You can always go through the cool down exercises that I have online too, and that should help try to loosen and limber things up. So, or if it's not working and you need some advice or recommendations, feel free to message me too. So I do try to respond right away. And I think you're frozen.
Maybe if I
Oh, there we go.
turn off the video. There we go.
Okay,
I'm streaming so many things right now.
that's okay, that's okay. So,
This has been wonderful.
yes, thank you so much for having me on here, and I hope everyone had a good workout, and if you have any questions, please make sure you reach out. I'm not good with this technology.
I know, I'm like, which one first?
Yeah. Let's see here.
I stopped the recording on my end, so we're good there. We really had pretty good turnout, I feel like, between Facebook Live